Hi, this is Rudy Jones of PalmettoStateBaseball.com. This is the college baseball scoreboard for South Carolina teams for Saturday, March 15th. There were 41 games in the state on Saturday, or at least involving state teams, and I was fortunate enough to get box score links for every one of them. Sometimes I can't do that till the day after or even a couple of days after, but I'm glad for what I got. We'll start with NCAA Division I teams, but first I want to apologize to the Wofford fans for not having the Terrier score on my wrap-up last night. It was just an oversight. I was not as organized as I needed to be. Let's go to the scores for Saturday. Over at Doug Kingsmore Stadium, Clemson won its 17th straight game with a 11-7 win over Notre Dame. Tigers are now 19-1 overall, 2-0 in the ACC. Notre Dame is 10-6 and 0-5. And Colin Priest and Tristan McClatty had home runs for Clemson on Saturday. Game 3 of the series is scheduled for noon in Clemson, weather permitting. Elsewhere, South Carolina evened its series against Oklahoma as Kennedy Jones singled, doubled, and homered. USC is now 16-4 overall, 1-1 in the conference after that 11-5 win today. The Sooners fell to 16-2 and 1-1. USC pitchers struck out 12. Game 3 of that series is scheduled for 2:30 p.m. now in Columbia. They're hoping some of the overnight weather, giving them an extra hour, will help that clear out and make sure the field's in playable condition Saturday afternoon. Down on the Grand Strand, Coastal Carolina completed a series sweep of Georgia Southern with a pair of wins, 7-2 in Game 1 and 11-1 in 7 innings in Game 2. Coastal pitchers struck out 21 batters on the day, and they only allowed 11 hits. The Chanticleers are now 15-5 overall, 3-0 in the Sun Belt. Georgia Southern fell to 10-9 and 0-3. Winthrop got a 6-run fourth inning and beat PC 12-7 to even that Big South Conference series at 1-1. The Eagles are 10-10 overall. PC is 9-11 overall. Also in the Big South, Radford hit 4 home runs to beat USC Upstate 9-6 today over at Spartanburg. The Highlanders are 2-0 in the league and 9-8 overall. Upstate fell to 8-10 and 0-2. Down in Charleston, Landon Penfield singled, tripled, and homered, driving 2 runs as College of Charleston beat Dartmouth for the second straight day. Today it was 7-3. The Cougars are 12-5 overall. Dartmouth is 0-8. Of course, that was not a conference game. Dylan Johnson had a big game for the second straight day for the Cougars. Up in Burlington, Nico Brini singled, homered, and stole 3 bases, and he drove in 3 runs as Wofford evened the series at Elon with a 14-3 8-inning win. The Terriers are 13-6 overall. Elon is 8-10. Down at the Joe in Charleston, Wesley Alleg hit a grand slam in the 10th, and Kennesaw State beat the Citadel 9-4 to even that series at 1-1. The Owls are 8-12, and the Citadel is now 11-9. James Murphy and Christian Smith homered, and High Point swept Charleston Southern in a doubleheader and in the series in Big South play. First game score was 6-3. The second game score was 8-5. The Panthers are now 15-5 overall, 3-0 in the Big South. The Buccaneers fell to 12-6 and 0-3. In Conference Carolinas, Richie Jordan pitched a complete game in Game 1. Noah Stout had 3 hits, and Francis Marion beat Belmont Abbey 5-1 to clinch a series win. But the Crusaders were playing at home, scored 2 runs in the bottom of the ninth to walk off Game 2, 6-5. Francis Marion won the series 2-1. They're now 19-8 overall, 9-6 in the Conference Carolinas. And Belmont Abbey is 16-10 and also 9-6. A little bit of an upset up in Tigerville. Barton took an early 5-run lead and held off North Greenville 10-6 to take a 2-1 series win over the Trailblazers. Old habits die hard. Barton is now 16-10 overall and 10-5 in Conference Carolinas. The Crusaders, who are ranked number 1 this week in the NC Baseball Writers Association poll, fell to 21-6 and 10-5. Over in Central, Southern Wesleyan had a 13-run fourth inning and took the rubber game of that series with Erskine, 21-9. The Warriors are now 7-20 overall, 6-9 in conference play. Erskine fell to 14-13 and 4-8. And Cam Mitchum hit his 30th career home run for the Warriors in that game. In the Peach Belt Conference, Lander beat Columbus State 11-6. They've won that series now 2-0 with the final game on Sunday. The Bearcats are now 18-7 overall, 7-1 in the Peach Belt. Columbus State fell to 10-12 and 2-6. North Georgia beat USC Beaufort twice, winning the first game 9-8. They had to withstand a 4-run ninth by the Sand Sharks, and North Georgia took the second game 9-3. North Georgia is now 18-8 overall, 8-1 in the Peach Belt. USC Beaufort fell to 3-24 and 1-11, and unfortunately the Sand Sharks have lost 14 straight. Down in Orangeburg, Keemon Quarles had 6 hits for Claflin, but the Panthers were swept by Augusta. First game score was 21-3. Second game score was 13-3. Augusta is now 8-19 overall, 5-7 in the Peach Belt Conference, and Claflin is 5-17-1 and 0-9. Flagler took the lead late in both games to complete a sweep of USC Aiken. First game score was 7-3. The second game score was 10-6 as they scored 4 runs in the 8th inning. Flagler is now 17-6 overall, 6-3 in the Peach Belt. Aiken fell to 13-13 and 5-4. In the South Atlantic Conference, Coker got a sweep of Wingate, not only a doubleheader sweep today, but a 3-game sweep of the series. Rocco Wojcik had 3 hits and drove in 4 runs in the first game and added 2 more hits in the second game. The Cobras won the opener 9-1, took game 2 6-2. Coker's now 19-8 overall, 8-4 in the SAC, and Wingate is 12-13 and 8-7. Newberry got the opener of its South Atlantic Conference doubleheader against Mars Hill. That score was 13-6, but the Lions scored a couple of runs late and won the second game 3-2 to take the series. Newberry is now 14-13 in the conference, 14-13 overall, 5-10 in the conference. Mars Hill is 8-19 and 3-9. Carson Newman wrapped up a series sweep of Limestone with a couple of wins. Game 1 score was 5-3. Game 2 score was 5-1. The Eagles are now 19-6 overall, 10-2 in the SAC. Limestone fell to 12-15, 6-9. Anderson scored 7 runs late to force extra innings, but Tusculum got an 11-inning walk-off win over the Trojans, 11-10 to salvage the final game of that series. Anderson's now 16-10 overall, 6-6 in the conference. Tusculum fell to 8-17 and 3-9. Among other 4-year schools, Cody Kirkpatrick and Bryson French had 3 hits apiece in Game 2, as Bob Jones got a doubleheader split with Alice Lloyd up in eastern Tennessee. It was the first series win of the season for the Bruins, who are now 6-15. Alice Lloyd fell to 12-7. Kirkpatrick had 5 hits for the doubleheader, and Matt Carroll added 4 for Coach Kyle Morrison's team. Bradley Garland's 2-run homer in the 8th inning lifted Columbia International to a 2-1 win over Johnson in the opener of that Appalachian Athletic Conference series, but the Royals took the second game 7-5. Columbia International is now 14-13 overall, 6-9 in the AAC. Johnson is 19-5 and 9-3. Benedict won the opener of its series with Savannah State in the the SIAC, Southern Intercollegiate Athletic Conference. That score was 8-2. Juan Guardado had 3 hits, including a home run. However, Savannah State came back to win the second game 7-3. Savannah State had its 6-game winning streak snapped in the opener. Benedict fell to 8-7 overall, 6-7 in the SIAC. Savannah State is now 12-6, 11-3. They play that final game of the series tomorrow. Guardado, by the way, had 3 hits in each game. In Junior College Region 10, Florence-Darlington Tech got a pair of wins over USC Sumter. First game score was 6-1. The second game score was 5-4. They had to make a late rally to win that one. The Stingers have a 9-game winning streak. They are 22-7 overall and 10-2 in the region. They're up by 2 games over their closest opponent. Sumter fell to 10-16 and 3-9. Aiden Tellerico homered and drove in 4 runs in Game 1, and Mason Elrod was 5 for 5 in Game 2. And USC Union swept USC Lancaster 10-2 in the first game, 10-3 in the second game. The Bantams are now 20-4 overall, 8-4 in the region. Lancaster fell to 11-16, 6-6. In the other Region 10 game and the final game involving games involving the state teams on Saturday, Gaston College swept USC Salkehatchie. Game 1 score was 8-5. The Indians had a late rally to make it close, and the Game 2 score was 11-0 in 5 innings. Gaston is now 21-7-1 overall, 8-4 in the region. USC Salkehatchie fell to 1-25 and 1-11. Looking at the ACC and SEC scores that were from out of state. Florida State beat Boston College twice on Saturday, 14-0 in Game 1, 6-2 in Game 2. Georgia Tech beat Pitt 11-1. NC State and Virginia Tech split a doubleheader. The Wolfpack won the opener 6-3, and Virginia Tech won the nightcap 20-8. Stanford beat Duke for the second straight day, 11-1. Virginia evened its series with California winning today 10-8. Wake Forest beat Miami 5-4 in 10 innings in Game 1 of their doubleheader. They are still playing as of about 11:15 in Game 2. I will update the score on the website. In the SEC, Alabama won its second straight over a struggling Texas A&M team, 6-2. Arkansas beat Ole Miss 12-3. Kentucky evened its series with Georgia 10-7. LSU held off Missouri 7-6. Tennessee remained unbeaten with a 10-0 win over Florida, and Vanderbilt beat Auburn 8-6. Texas at Mississippi State was postponed. They're going to try to play 2 on Sunday down at College Station. Also, Voorhees' scheduled doubleheader at Rust down in Holly Springs, Mississippi, was postponed on Saturday because of the results of the inclement weather they had, really bad weather I heard, down there in Mississippi. They've pushed that series back to a doubleheader at noon Sunday and a single game at 1 o'clock on Monday. Now, as you may know, there's bad weather possibly coming in tonight from the southwest to us. Just be careful, be alert, and I don't want to lose any of my followers. Thank you for following me on PalmettoStateBaseball.com. Thank you for looking at the scoreboard. And as always, good night and God bless.